Healthcare workers and the elderly will be among the first to access a COVID-19 vaccine if and when it is developed. This from Health Minister Terrence Deyalsingh, who believes a vaccine may not be produced until 2021. In the interim, he's urging citizens to adhere to the public health guidelines, noting a recent issue of a party on a private compound. Sunil Lalla has more.
Healthcare workers will be government's first priority when a vaccine for the COVID-19 virus is finally developed. But Minister Terrence Deyalsingh is assuring that the vulnerable groups such as the elderly will also be one of the first groups to receive the vaccine. He confirms that TNT has signed on with PAHO, which is investing in a portfolio of vaccines in trial. When one is developed, the minister says TNT has an order of 400,000 doses of vaccines, but notes that not all will be delivered at the same time.
What we have signed up for with COVAX is that we will get in the first instance 20% of what we need. So 20% of roughly 400,000 is 80,000. That will help us in the first instance, in the first few months of the vaccination process, to vaccinate hopefully every single healthcare worker. There are about 17,000.
But Mr. Deyalsingh does not expect a vaccine to be developed until next year, during which time he says citizens' behavior will determine the increase in cases. He notes a recent video on social media of a party on private property, behavior which he believes could leave the parallel healthcare system in shambles. Mr. Deyalsingh says the COVID-19 regulations only involve public spaces, but he says he will have to speak to the Attorney General to see if anything can be done to stop this sort of behavior on private property.
I have been imploring and sometimes literally begging people not to host these type of events in your private properties. Now, I will have to talk to the Attorney General to see if it is possible, because these are serious constitutional areas we are going into now. People have a right to privacy. It's in the Constitution.
The minister, meanwhile, is making an appeal to businesses to ensure that their employees do not show up for work while they are ill.
And asking businesses and employers to do what is right, both for your employees, what is in best interest of your employees, because you want a healthy workforce. You want a workforce that is healthy and happy, that is well protected. A lot of this onus now rests on you.
The minister adds that he also witnessed persons flouting regulations at a local restaurant where a person was seen dining, and is again urging all citizens to obey the regulations. Sunil Lalla, TTT News.
The TNT Police Service will not charge people because of ethnicity. This from Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith after a number of persons were seen partying at a private residence recently but were let off with a warning by police. He explains that the police could not abuse its power since the event occurred on private property. Mr. Griffith confirms that the investigation into the incident is still ongoing, but says it was a difficult situation given that it occurred on a private residence and not a public place.
This was not a case of police not being involved, not charging because of the ethnic composition of individuals, because as I said, this was private property, but there was no concern of the same people who were saying that when it is that we cleared all the persons when they were swimming in public place in sea lots and next to Bayside, and no charges were laid, and that was not an issue then.
Mr. Griffith says police can intervene if people are made to pay a cover charge to enter a private residence where the property essentially becomes a public space. He notes that people may find loopholes in this law, but is urging people to stay put, adding that the ZESA parties will happen soon enough.
So you can't have an open house where you have alcohol being sold, consumed, the level of the noise, persons paying at a cover charge. It no longer now becomes private property because now you're actually charging members of the public to enter. If you have your own private event that you have invited individuals, it can make it difficult. I do not want this to be used as an opportunity for persons to say, aha, so that's what we can do.
The police commissioner added that even if the police cannot enter private property where an event is taking place, they could still conduct roadblocks and DUI testing nearby.